What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk more about this upcoming week, some data points, some news that may or may not affect Lucid's price. I also want to give you my price prediction, where I see things going by the end of the week, and I'm going to do a little bit more technical analysis as well to back that up. Also, I do want to talk on Cramer because he is citing that the bottom is very much close to being in. So I want to talk about that and if that is actually true or not. But before I get into any of that though, making sure you guys hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. If you like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. And one final thing though, I just wanted to share with you, click on the link in the description below, sign up, just deposit $1 and you get 6 free stocks. It is an amazing deal, so take advantage of this, and this is only until June the 30th. But with that though, let's get right to it. So as far as economic data, there isn't really anything this week that is going to could affect the price of Lucid significantly. Obviously everything has a possibility of doing so, but right now looking here up front doesn't seem like it is so. But most likely there is going to be a little bit more of a continuation of fear from the Fed meeting last week. So that's something for us as investors just to keep in mind. But when it comes down to it though, a lot of people are starting to cite that the bottom is very much close to being in. Cramer is one of them, but I'm going to wait until the end to talk about that because obviously Cramer is a little bit more of a flipping coin. It could be all over the place. Some people really like him, some people hate him. But as far as some news, there's going to be, like I said, a little bit more continuation from the Fed meeting because now they're saying hypothetically it's going to be roughly between 3 to 3.5% by the end of the year, insinuating there's going to be a lot more Fed rate hikes in the future. But again, it's one of those things that the Fed's kind of already insinuated that after their meeting. And again, it comes down to the point once they said it, it's already now going to be factored in for the most part into the price. But there was also news that did come out, so you can see as far as the Denver location, Denver studio was opened, and that started on June the 18th. So that's very beneficial, and we all know that all these studios are very successful. And overall though, it brings a lot more reservations. So Q2 numbers are going to be very positive in my opinion, because technically they're going to incorporate now Europe. These studios are going to be doing an amazing job. But not only that though, because of that leasing news, that's going to make Lucid a lot more appealing to a lot more individuals. Even in the video I did, it hypothetically said 27% of people are a little bit more incentivizing to leasing versus buying a vehicle. So that should, in theory, bring a lot more people towards us, a lot more reservations. So that's something for us to keep in mind. One negative thing that could affect more so EVs, especially Lucid and Tesla, is this. So I've already said my reservations about China in the past during live streams and things like that because I'm a very big fan of Lucid's expansion. And yes, they've already said that they're going to be doing China, Europe, and all the big points because there is a lot of EV demand for both China and Europe. But unfortunately, when it comes down to China, I've always had my reservations about what they can or cannot do because obviously, even you can see on the title here, China resort town bans Tesla EVs over spying concerns. Complete BS, but in reality, China has the ability to just say, you know what? You're done here. And imagine if Lucid spent a lot of money to actually incorporate and get into China and or whatever the developing areas around it, and for China just to be like, yeah, you know what, you're done. So it's like not really worthwhile in my opinion. So this could cause a little bit more of a backlash on as far as the expansion, and hopefully at least we're lucky enough for Lucid not to have started that expansion into China. So that's something as well for us to be a little bit more lucky in our case versus you can already tell based on Tesla. So those are some things as far as the news goes that is going to really affect the price. But obviously given the news, it's day by day. There's a lot of things that could come during the week that could influence Lucid's price, but given the circumstances and technicals, it does look like fairly close to being the bottom. That's my own 2 cents. Keep in mind though, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence at the end of the day. But with looking at the amount of institutions, how much they've really been buying, not necessarily just Lucid, but a lot of other growth stocks, it shows that they are willing to take on more risk. And you can even tell this is the dark pool orders from Friday alone. So there is some substantial amount of orders, but yet this is why I found this very funny. And I've been saying this the last couple of videos and live streams. Keep in mind, institutions are not your friend. They want to take your shares for a very cheap price. So they will continue to cite saying that there's recession, blah, 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 a lot of fear out in the market, but yet behind the scenes, they are buying like crazy. So take that how you see that. This is why right now, take advantage of these deals and have a little bit more of a long-term investment, long-term time horizon, because by 2025 you're going to wish that you bought more at the $16 range or even higher. So that's how my 2 cents is, and this is why I like to think about this in a little bit more of a longer term investment, not necessarily day by day or week by week. And so not only is institutions really buying that, which kind of goes in hand with what James Cramer is citing. So he is saying that there is a lot of early signs in the market that hypothetically the bottom is very much close. And he does talk on institutions backing. He talks on a lot of different things, more so about the feds and what they may or may not be doing in the coming weeks, but more specifically institutions. And hands down, out of everything, I know a lot of people don't really like him, and sometimes there's that inverse Cramer, so whatever he says is completely opposite, but he is saying that there's early signs in the market, and I do completely agree with him. You need to watch what institutions are doing. And over the last little bit, I have been watching several things a little bit more closely, one of which is the dark pool. So that is a secondary market designated for institutions, but I also have been really watching short interest. So short interest is obviously a good benchmark because those people are clearly opposite to what we do believe, but just based on Friday, they has been closing out a lot of their positions. Obviously the market is closed. This is why all the live updates are nil as of right now, but short interest is 22%, which is extremely high. And given the circumstances, this is a very rare chance and opportunity. I'm just going to show you this as well, because I have been really watching this as well and keeping in line with that institutions and short interest and things like that. Right here on Interactive Brokers, this is a good platform for individuals that are looking to short. Obviously, in my whole investing time period since 2009, I've actually never shorted a stock ever. And in addition to that, I've actually never bought a put. So if you guys don't know options, highly suggest in researching them, but oddly enough, you can see the short availability, it does show as physically 0, and that is a rare circumstance. So this is where right now I kind of agree with Jim Cramer, because the bottom could be very much in. Especially going back to this though, it does appear, especially on the short interest, the short score is 85.59. That shows the likelihood of a squeeze. We all know when it comes to Lucid, they are a smoking gun. They can go up with whenever they want, why they want, everything like that. But Lucid is overdue for a massive rally. I think that's to say the least, even looking at the technicals, which I'm going to touch on in a second. If there is a squeeze, especially institutions continuously buying as much as they have in Lucid, things could be appearing at least for a bottom. Maybe it's a false bottom, I'm not sure, but given the circumstances of the news and how things are, I do feel that it is well overdue for a massive rally. So that's going to be a little bit more incorporated in my actual price prediction. So getting right to it though, looking on the actual chart, at the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages, Bollinger Bands, stochastic, momentum, and RSI. So looking at momentum over the last several days, you can tell the number of buyers have gone down significantly. Clearly they are very fearful about what came from the Fed meeting and also CPI data, and stochastic is extremely oversold, and it's 19. Anything hypothetically below 20 is a great buying opportunity. There's no defined trend. If you actually look very closely, you probably can't tell on your screen, but the black line is above the red, so showing there is hints of a nice bullish trend starting to form. RSI is currently at 44. On the actual chart, we did have that volatile day on Friday, but you can tell right now we did bounce outside the Bollinger Band, and we are very optimistic. Shows a little bit more of a consolidation that we are ready for the next leg up. And we are entering also into a very pivotal point as well, because looking here, that 50-day moving average and central Bollinger Band are hugging each other right now. That typically shows that there is going to be a lot of extreme volatility coming up, because if they do cross, that could insinuate a massive downtrend, or on the contrary, depending on with the market conditions, it could be a massive leg up. So there might be something there for us to watch for in the short term as well. But looking as well on the Fibonacci, you can see right now we are currently 1663 between the S1 and the pivot. I've been covering a lot of stocks, and we're actually very lucky to be between the S1 and the pivot. A lot of stocks are between the S2 and the S1, and if they are in a very bad case, S3 to the S2. But given the circumstances, 1805 is the point to watch for. In reality, that's not too far-fetched of a goal, but keep in mind a lot of these do have some resistance points that we would need to get over, so we would most likely need to rely on a lot of continuation of buying from a lot of institutions, especially based on this. It does look like retail investors are really getting out of Lucid over the last little bit, over the last 2 weeks, give or take. But again, going back to this out of everything, I do feel, especially with the stagnant amount of or lack of news or justification, I think there's going to be a lot of volatility this week, but overall we should be green given our circumstances. I can't see much downside from here, especially we do know there is a lot of strong support levels, which was at that 1325 and also at 1550. So we do have a lot of strong support below us, insinuating that with volatility we may or may not touch that and bounce off of that trending higher. So those are things as well that you need to keep in mind. But overall, I see us landing around that $18 to $20 range, because it's one of those things, like I've already said, we are well overdue for a rally. There's a lot of signals behind the scenes all insinuating that we are well overdue for a rally, that clearly big money wants us to go up. Just right now they're just waiting for the right moment, the right piece of news to come out for them to officially say, you know what, it is time to buy. Because we've seen that plenty of times in the past. Institutions buy the massive dip, and then one good piece of news, even if it's just someone just woke up in the morning or whatever it is, as long as one good piece of news, which is good for the overall economy, then you see a lot of institutions come out with news, like for instance JP Morgan, Citibank. They're very well known for that, just flip-flopping easily, oh, it's time to buy now, or even JP Morgan as well. A lot of big institutions do that, and by that time when they are saying and coming out with those articles, they've already well bought a lot of the dip. So just keep that in mind in the back. So overall, let me know your thoughts on my price prediction, where I see things going between the $18 and $20 range. I don't see us having enough to get over that $20 range unless something really substantial does come out, very benefiting for Lucid. But given the circumstances, I think it's going to be a little bit more stagnant. This might not necessarily be the week that we do break out, but still is a long-term game for Lucid, and it's just enjoy the ride. That's to say the least. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. If you like my channel, want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that said, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.